So I just had to have a very difficult conversation with my sailors this morning. Not because I'm leaving the Truman this Friday. I'm excited about leaving the Truman. But I just had to tell my sailors, if there is a possibility that you will be perceived as not being an American if somebody looks at you, then you might need to start carrying around your passport. Let that sink in. I had to tell my sailors that if somebody looked at you and it is possible that they could assume that you are not an American, start carrying your passport around. Why did you tell your sailors that, Chief? Because last week at 6:30 in the morning, a sailor went to a Wawa less than 2 miles from the base to get gas or breakfast or whatever was his God-given constitutional rights to be doing at 6:30 in the morning on the way to work. He was in uniform. He pulls out of the parking lot, is almost immediately stopped by a Norfolk police marked vehicle. Out of the vehicle emerges not just a Norfolk police officer, but also an ICE agent. Now, the Norfolk police officer told him at first that the reason why he was pulled over is because his windows was too dark. First and foremost, in Virginia, window tint is a secondary offense. What that means is the police cannot just pull you over solely for tint. You have to be breaking some other type of traffic law, speeding, blowing through a stop sign, broken tail light, whatever the case may be. That's the first red flag. When the sailor in uniform provides paperwork that proved that his vehicle was within Virginia regulations for tint, the ICE agent tells this sailor that he has reasonable suspicion to believe that sailor was in the United States illegally, that he needed to provide identification to prove otherwise. He gives the ICE agent his military ID, to which the ICE agent responds, that is not sufficient identification. So for an hour and a half, this sailor in uniform with a current military ID is detained until he can produce a passport to prove that he is an American citizen. Never mind the fact that this sailor went on a combat deployment with his ship. Never mind the fact that this sailor went through the recruiting process, went through boot camp, went through whatever A school or school that they went to, joined the military under the right pretenses. Never mind all of that stuff. A Norfolk police officer riding around with an ICE agent looks at him because he's Hispanic. That's reasonable suspicion to believe that he's in America illegally. Yes, I had to tell my sailors, who many of them are of Hispanic descent. Some of them are Africans. I had to tell my sailors, if somebody could look at you and say, I don't know if they're American, then you got to carry around your passport. That's the sad state of affairs that we're in America, is that no matter the fact that you are in your military uniform, on your way to a military base with a military ID, this government, as it is currently set up, makes it okay for the fact that you are Hispanic to be stopped and harassed by police and ICE agents, which, correct me if I'm wrong, why they riding around together? Who sanctioned this stop? I would like to know the connection between these two officers, because why is an ICE agent getting out of a Norfolk Police Department police officer's vehicle during a traffic stop. That ain't your jurisdiction as ICE, so why are you even on the scene? If a regular citizen was out there, then they would be arrested for impeding on the investigation or impeding on the officer's duties. But an ICE agent, after this illegal stop, then says, by the way, we don't think you from here. Where your papers at? You can serve your country at risk of losing your life and then come back to your country and be harassed because of what you look like. This the America that we making great again? If this is the America that MAGA is saying they want again, looks like we're well on our way, unfortunately.